Hey, good morning, afternoon, evening. How are you doing today? It's Nigerian XJW Speaks here, otherwise known as Chiga. If it's your first time here, hi, hello, welcome. If you are a returning subscriber, hi fam, I see you. Okay, so thanks for coming on today. Thanks for clicking, thanks for watching. And that's sort of what I want to start with as well. I just want to thank everyone that's been watching, sharing, and contributing to my videos in the last month or so. We have seen a lot of growth, like there's been a lot of new subscribers gain, views are doing awesome, and I just want to say thank you to everyone who's contributed to that. Hopefully it is that it's resonating with you, it's providing value, it's doing what it's supposed to do, which is for someone else to be a voice and say, hi there, I see you, and this is what we experience, this is what life is like, living a religion like the witnesses, and what the experiences are, and hopefully you're getting some kind of benefit from them as well. But I just want to thank you. And actually, before I get into the video for today, for the first time I feel like I can set a goal. So it is my birthday. Oh my gosh, it's exactly 2 weeks from today. So the 27th of December, it's my birthday. And of course, we're new to this whole celebrating birthday thing. And so I would love, and this is probably a crazy goal, I'd love to get to 1,000 subscribers by my birthday, or let's say by the end of December, which is not far from that. So anything you can do to make that happen, if you are here for that, share, like, subscribe, if you can help us get to that goal, that would be amazing. That would be awesome. So this is me setting a goal for this. We are probably halfway there. And so I know it's a crazy goal, but let's put it out there and see what happens. Okay. All right. That's out of the way. So today's video, oh my goodness, I ummed and ahed about it. As you see from the title, it's going to do with regrets. And that is not a word that I like to have. That is not a word that I like to think of. But unfortunately, as you go through life, there are going to be things that if you could go back, you would do them differently. You sort of want to do over, right? And I thought about why would I want to share this? Because these are quite personal. I think, why would I want to put this stuff out there? And I think about why I started this channel in the first place. There were a lot of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses here on YouTube. My stutter is heavy when I get nervous, when I feel the pressure, I start to stutter, so bear with me. There are a lot of us out here, and there were many who looked like me, or from an African country like Nigeria. And so I just wanted to add my voice. I just wanted to add my voice to support anyone who is questioning, who is making that journey, to make them feel like they're not alone. There's someone else from the same, or maybe not the same, part of the world, who looks a certain way, who has gone through the same questioning myself. And secondary reason for that is it has been part of my healing, It has been part of my recovery, being able to share stuff like this with people that get it. Some of you have been out longer than I have. And it has been part of the healing. And a lot of the time, the poison and damage from a group like this, a lot of the time it thrives in secrecy. There is a lot of culture of secrecy in groups like this. And that's what keeps it festering. And a lot of the times when you get things out in the open, they lose their power. And they're not as heavy as they used to be. So in the spirit of continuing to heal, in the spirit of recovery, in the spirit of getting things out in the open, and not fostering secrecy, that is why I decided to go ahead and share this. If it all goes to plan and I have to take it down, take the video down, of course, I can always do that as well. But I don't know who it's going to help. I don't know who it's going to resonate with and just make you feel like you are not alone. So I have put down a list of 5. I've put down a list of 5 things. I don't think they're in any particular order at all. It's just, let's just run through them. I've got a drink today because I need to get through this. Let me know if you're drinking something and what you do have. Okay, so the first thing on my list, this one goes quite way back actually. I was in primary school. I don't remember exactly how old I was, but it was Yeah, certainly quite early on, if not primary school, maybe like maybe the first or second year of secondary school. I was not quite in the teens yet. And it was to do with a girl called Ashetu, and I'm gonna say her name because if for some crazy reason somehow the internet is a crazy place and she finds this, I do want her to know. So Ashetu was she was a bit older than me. We sat next to each other, and she'd taken quite an interest. We were school friends. Of course, we know, or at least it was my experience, that I wasn't supposed to have friends who were not witnesses. Ashetu was not a witness at all. And so whatever friendliness we had ended in school. She was a great girl. She's a great girl. So the incident in question, I was being bullied, for God knows what. Pick your reason, whether that's because I'd been at someone's house over the weekend on a Saturday going door to door and I was being laughed at for that, or the fact that I wasn't, singing the anthem, or some other reason, or the fact that I was overweight. Kids, they don't need any reason sometimes to do what they do. And I was being teased by a group of boys. And as I remember it, Ashetu tried to stick up for me. And one of the boys grabbed a piece of wood that had, it must have had a nail sticking out of it or something, or stuck in it, and hit her with it. And I think the piece of nail went across Ashetu's eyes, and she was bleeding. She was bleeding profusely, and she had to leave. And the regret that I have is that I did not go after her. I did not go after her to see if she was okay. Whoa, okay, I did not expect that. I did not go after her to see if she was okay. I was scared. I didn't know if I was going to be next. I didn't want to get into any trouble, like physically fighting, or like get into the mess of it all. I was just really scared, and so I did not go after her. She left, presumably to get it looked at, and after that day, everything is sort of a blur. I can't remember now if she ever came back to school. Like, everything is just a blur. And every time I sit down and I think about things that I regret, and I regret not going after her. I regret not going to see if she was okay. Someone who, in my mind, she was sticking up for me, and that was why that happened. So, Ashetu, like I said, I don't know if somehow you're going to find this. Trust here. I think about that every time I think about things that I could go back and redo. And I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. And just sort of expanding on that, I think after that incident, I don't know if this was part of it, but it's, as I've been preparing to film this and talk about it, I don't know if that was the trigger for later fights that I got involved with, because it's almost like at that point something switched. Like, I wasn't going to have someone else fight my fight for me. I remember after that incident, I got into fights, like physically, let's deal with it in school. Let's sort it out. Slave of God does not need to fight. Scrap that. That was for home or the Kingdom Hall. I've talked about this in my waking up video. There was a lot of double life going on. This was one of the things. And I think it's almost like something switched. I did not want someone else to go through that. I did not want someone else sticking up for me and getting hurt. I will fight my fight myself. Let's do it. And so I feel like maybe that was a trigger for what was to come next. And it's crazy. That's what I mean. Talking about stuff like this and just even preparing for it, I had that insight because I clearly remember going on then to my early teens, getting into fights, like physically fighting. People who I felt were bullying me. Let's do it. So that, as far as I knew, that was not going to happen again. I was not going to have someone sticking up for me again and getting hurt. I've dwelt on that for so long. I am going to move on. The next thing, gosh, this is all quite heavy. Not doing the research about the witness faith sooner. If only I'd had the exposure before end of 2017, 2018. If only this had come, maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago, before that. Imagine how different things could have been in terms of the years of heartache and struggle. Because when I stopped attending in 2011, the anguish didn't stop. The anguish of feeling so defeated for having to leave because I couldn't meet up to it. The mental torture that went with that. And part of that led to probably the reckless year of my life, the 2011 to 2012. Pretty much as soon as I left, looking back, I probably was in so much pain mentally, beating myself up for the fact that I've had to leave because I just couldn't take it anymore. If only at that point I'd been exposed to the information, have done the research, and saw it for what it was. I wish I'd done that sooner. Of course, the best thing would have been to not have been raising it in the first place, but that would be the next best thing. If I'd left right from the start because I saw it for what it was, and not because I thought I just couldn't measure up, it would have saved so many years of pain and heartache. The other one that's sort of connected to that, of course, coming out of that, there's no other way to describe it other than being a reckless year. Of course, coming out of that year, I was pregnant. I was pregnant with my son, which leads on to the third regret, which is I wish I'd enjoyed the pregnancy more. But how can you enjoy pregnancy when you feel so guilty for being pregnant, when you are ashamed, afraid, just feeling like a lost cause for that being the case. I think I mentioned this in my waking up video, that when I moved back to the city where I was, where I knew people who might have had connection to my family who didn't know right up until the end, pretty much close to when I was due, that they actually found out that I was pregnant, and of course they didn't speak to me until after my son was born. So I bought hijabs, niqabs to cover my face when I went out in public, just so I wouldn't run into someone that I knew. And I just wished I'd enjoyed it more. I just wish I'd taken more photos to remember that time. I think I can probably count on one hand how many pictures I have with my bump. And these were all really secret, and with like maybe one or two people who would know about it. Just all really, it's just quite seedy and secret when it was something to be enjoyed. And I just wish I'd enjoyed it more because, let's face it, this might well be it for me, I might well not have another one. And it's just, I wish I'd enjoyed it more. I wish there were better memories of it rather than being something that I was ashamed of. And because that just brought a downer on everything, just a real dampener on everything. So I do regret that. So that was number 4. And number 5, we need a drink for this one. You see what I mean? This is a tough one. This is a tough video. We need a drink for this one. Number 5. Whew. Number 5. I wish I'd spoken up sooner. I wish I'd spoken up sooner about okay. I wish I'd spoken up sooner about being abused as a child. I wish I'd asked for help sooner. I wish I'd spoken up sooner. I wish I'd gotten into therapy sooner and made sense of things. Again, there wouldn't have been so many years wasted in pain, blaming myself, wondering what I'd done wrong, wondering what was wrong with me. I would have gotten into therapy sooner to put the blame where it truly was. The adults, the people who failed in their safeguarding, and the people who didn't respond appropriately to things that were happening. Again, this is the cover up is something that is quite pervasive in the witness religion, but I wish I'd spoken up sooner, because it was one of the best things that I eventually did, which was to speak up, of course, in the right setting, get help, get trained professionals to help unpack it, and really put the blame, like I said, where it should have been. And realizing that as a child, the power balance is not in your favor. There's not really a lot you can do as a child to stop a sick, awful, monstrous human who not only has such tendencies but wants to act on them. There's not very much you as a child can do to stop that, and it's not your fault. It's nothing wrong with you. It's nothing fundamentally damaged and wrong about you, and not just hearing that, but believing that, because you're not going to just hear it once, like this in my case. You don't just hear it once and then believe it. You need to hear it again and again and again. And even in some cases, imagine if it was, this is what helped me. Imagine it wasn't you as a child. Picture another child now, a child right now. Would you put that on them? Would you put that responsibility on them? What do they know? As children, we are raised to trust adults. In Nigerian culture, I think it's probably even extra. You don't talk back at them. You don't argue with them. You respect them. And so there's not really anything that you could have done, and it wasn't your fault. But I wish I'd gone to the places where I could hear that sooner and hear that again and again and again, so we can start to heal that little girl, to heal that child, and get her feeling proud. Get her feeling proud of the fact that she survived. She got through it. She got through it. She survived it. She's here. She is here. And reach back and give that little girl a hug and make her know that there's nothing wrong with her. She's okay. And I wish that started sooner. But you know what? Better late than never. We got on this path. Well, are we now? 2020. It's nearly 10 years. It's over 10 years. Is it? Yeah, no, I think it's 10 years on the dot. 2020, yes, 10 years. 10 years of getting help. 10 years of speaking. 10 years of hearing it said in different ways by different professionals, that it's not your fault. And damn, look what you've done. Look what you've done, If this resonates, if this applies to you, my God, look how far you come. Look what you've done. You survived that trauma. You are here in one piece. I mean, the worst is over. The worst part of it is over. And just realizing that, no one can hurt you now. And now you are in control of what happens or what doesn't happen. And see the power in that. The power in not just your now, but also how you can go back and parent that little girl and give her a hug. The hug that perhaps the adults in her life at the time were not able to give her, either because they didn't notice what was happening, or they noticed and they were too scared themselves. Who knows? You cannot understand sometimes what other people do. You can only know what's going on here and what's going on with you, and that's what you can understand, and that's what you can hold on to. So I don't want to make this too much longer. I can't believe that I've shared that, but you know what? It's part of the healing. It's part of the recovery. And I know that I'm not the only one. In fact, one of the catalysts for me speaking up was in college. There was this assignment that I had to do, and it was on this topic. And the statistics, it was like, I think 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 adults have had abuse like this as a child. CSA. And that blew my mind. 1 in 3, 1 in 4. That's too much. And that was really the catalyst to actually put a name to it. And that really did set me onto the path of, so this is what happened. Now what can we do about it? Let's get help. Let's get it sorted. So the regret is I wish I'd started that process sooner. But that's me done. That was heavy. I'm sorry if any of this was triggering for anyone. That was not the intention at all. The intention is to heal, is to get things out in the open, take the power of some of these things, get them out of their secret boxes, and take some of that power back, because there's not a lot you can do about what's gone before, or you can do different now. And you can give yourself a pat on the back for the things that you did do well, and learn from the things that maybe you could have done better, like the first item I had on the list. And you can best believe that I never left a friend hanging like that again. Heck, like I said, I wouldn't even let someone get into trouble for me, let alone leave them in the lurch like that again. So we can learn from that. To stop myself rambling, I am going to leave it there. Like I said at the start, it would be lovely to get to 1,000 subscribers by my birthday, which is the 27th of December. So like, share, subscribe. I'm going to put some videos here to watch next after this one. I think I need to go lie down. This is nervous laughter. Yeah, that was heavy. Have a wonderful rest of the Sunday if you still have any left, or have a great week if you watch this later. Look after yourself and take care.